Put on the garments of praise for the spirit of heaviness.
I had a shopping adventure the other day. Our filter coffee machine broke, so we went to get a new one, and started in a shop in Letterkenny and queued outside, and then eventually got in to discover they didn't have anything in stock. Then I went round to Argos and sort of went through the door, and the lady stopped me and said, "Do you have an appointment?" And I said, "No, don't." She said, "Well, could I just get you to wait outside for a while until something becomes available?" So what I did was I went outside and I just got into the car and left. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want the thing that badly that day to take the time to actually invest in waiting outside in the car park. We eventually got the filter machine, and funny, the thing that we've done the first couple of times was we complained about how slow it was. It took so much longer than the other one we had before, but we realised that actually it makes better, hotter, stronger coffee because it takes that bit longer. You see, what I'm trying to say there in that story is all about impatience. I wasn't willing to wait, and even waiting for a cup of coffee seems to take so long sometimes. We live in a world where we're continually being tempted towards, instant gratification. We need things now. We need everything fast. We want everything easy. We're only happy if we can do something quickly. We want to be able to commit the minimum amount of energy necessary to get the maximum amount of results quickly for us. And that means that in faith we can often be impatient with one another and impatient even with God. But actually, true faith, real deep strong faith, requires patience. Listen to James chapter 5 verse 7. "Be patient then, brothers, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, and how patient he is for the autumn and spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against each other, brothers, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door." Be patient and stand firm. Two of the requirements that James says are going to be necessary for walking with God and walking with church in these days until Jesus returns. Walking with God requires endurance. It requires faith that is resilient, that doesn't give up quickly and easily, that doesn't get discouraged at the first sort of period of time. We're required to make this long-term commitment to God. In fact, it's the longest possible term we can imagine. It's eternity. We're committed to be with Him and to trust Him. The passage goes on in James, verse 10. "Brothers, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we consider blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy." James gives two examples of people who have to be patient. He talks about the farmer, sows in the spring and has to be patient until the harvest. Then he uses the Old Testament prophets, says, look at these guys. They were patient. They sowed in really difficult times and they had to wait a long time. But look at the results now, James says. Look and see what God has done. Patience. One of the attributes that we need in these days when we go shopping, one of the attributes we need in our faith. Let me finish with reading from Psalm 40. Psalm 40 verse 1. "I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust." You see where the song comes from? It comes from waiting patiently on the Lord. As we wait patiently on Him, May he lift us up. May he encourage our hearts. And may he give us that song on our mouth, that hymn of praise to our God, who will do all that has to be done in his time for his glory. And so we wait on him. God bless.
Put on the garments of praise, for the Spirit